Vintage Russell Wilson showed up in Jerry's world. The moonball was in full effect. He went 7 for 11 for 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception on deep passes. Those are passes with 20-plus air yards. The 264 yards, well, that's the most deep passing yards in a game since Next Gen Stats started tracking back in 2016. What do we learn about year 14 Russell Wilson in week 2 versus week 1? When Russ had time, he didn't check the ball down, he let it fly. 3 of his biggest plays you can see here in blue. A moonball to Malik Neighbors for 6, a strike to Wan'dale Robinson for 6, and a clutch dime delivered to Neighbors for 6 that we thought was going to be game. So let's break down the protection and the pass on those plays to show how, when given time, Russ can still cook and the moonball is still alive. All right, first play was that 29-yard dime to Malik Neighbors for a touchdown. Hell of a catch by Malik Neighbors. But you know what? Shout out to the O-line for the protection. Let's break this thing down. All right, what we're seeing here is a 4-man rush. The Commanders did the exact same thing in week 1, but the Giants' offensive line struggled. Sounds very basic in terms of some of the things that we're going to see and I'm going to talk about, but look how much he is protected and how he can step into the throw. If you're looking at this, and we'll rewind this back right now, take a look at the offensive line. Up top to the left, that left tackle, that's rookie Marcus Bowe. He came in and held his own when James Hudson III got benched for, we don't even need to go there. But look how in the middle, the interior pressure, how they're able to hold up against this interior pressure. So when you see the motion here, they're only going to rush 4 again. Russ snaps it, pause it. Clean protection. Again, Marcus Bowe, one-on-one, holds his own. You can see John Runyon Jr. kind of scan to see if there's any blitzers, and then he goes over and he helps Bowe out. JMS, John Michael Schmitz, has his one-on-one. He's got his guy stalemate. And then you've got Van Roten and Illuminor both on their one-on-ones getting somebody up out the club. If you're able to protect Russell Wilson, he is going to throw the football down the field and deliver moonballs like he's been doing for 13 years in the NFL. All right, second play is 4th and 4 here. This is one of the biggest plays of the game until the biggest play of the game. 32-yard touchdown pass to Wan'dale Robinson. Check out the protection here because the protection held up just enough for Wan'dale to run clean up the side. Now, if you're watching this, all right, you got 4. They're rushing 4 again. There's nothing special there. But again, that's something that they struggled with a week prior. You got 5 offensive linemen and a running back in protection to protect 5. Look out to protect against 4. Look how clean this pocket is. The right tackle, Jermaine Illuminor, runs his pass rusher right by Russ up the field. Big point here to watch. Van Roten, the right guard, gets beat. But look how the center, JMS, John Michael Schmitz, helps him out. He helps him enough to hold that rusher so Russ can kind of step into this throw. That was a big point of emphasis going into this game from week 1 to week 2. How these guys were going to handle double teams, how these guys were going to handle stunts. If you look to the left side here, left guard, John Runyon, he handles him and Marcus Bowe, a rookie, in his first real action. Look how they handled their one-on-one and look how they handled the stunts. Russell Wilson was getting his face knocked off last week against the Commanders. It's when you talk about getting better and going from week 1 to week 2, the protection was the biggest thing that we were talking about. And when we're talking about week 1 to week 2, how teams or NFL teams get better, that's when you have the biggest jump. And for the Giants, I believe the biggest jumps were in the protection for Russell Wilson and being able to push the ball down the field vertical. It only happens if Russ has time to cook. Obviously, it's the last play and the biggest play of the game for the Giants in terms of positive play of the game. One thing about football, you need time to throw a dime, and that's exactly what the offensive line allowed Russell Wilson to do here. We'll start with the left tackle, Marcus Bowe. Up top here towards the left, handling his one-on-one, the interior. They handle a stunt and all that action and that mess up the middle. Again, Jermaine Illuminor stonewalls his edge rusher. And in the biggest moment of the game, when you know that Dallas is coming after him, Russell Wilson has the ability to step into the pocket, and the pocket is the cleanest it probably was all game. This man puts the ball almost 60 yards in the air and delivers that signature moon ball against double coverage. You see him step. Look at the pocket there. I could probably throw the ball a clean 30 yards down the field into the bucket. This is what Russell will. When Joe Shane and Brian Dable brought him in, this is why they brought him in, to push the ball down the field vertically. Giants fans were just as excited as Wan'Dale Robinson after that catch. And I would be too, because his boy Malik Neighbors finished with a $105 and 2 touchdowns on deep balls. Wan'Dale Robinson, who's usually a slot guy who averaged, around 7 to 8 yards per catch last year, he had a $107 on deep balls and a score. Russ is building real chemistry with these young weapons. And yeah, he threw a pick in overtime. That ended it. But he also silenced all of that Jackson Dart noise and the critics who said that he was washed up. The Giants gave up 1 sack, 1 QB hit, and 7 pressures throughout the day. So shout out to the offensive line, because that was good enough for Russ to finish the day 30 for 41 for 450 yards, 3 TDs, and the INT. If the Giants offensive line can protect them, defenses better back up, because the moon ball is still dangerous, and dangerous is still the moon ball.